Today we're gonna talk about your favorite topic, A6400. It's the most searchable item on my channel, and today I'm gonna give you my opinion after using A6400 for exactly 3 months. Before we get started, I will kindly ask you to subscribe to my channel because it's gonna get more interesting with the content like this. So if you want to stay tuned, please subscribe. A6400 is a very good camera. When I decided to buy this camera, I wasn't exactly satisfied with the results the people are getting on the network. Specifications on this camera are very good for its price range, and it's kind of similar to Sony A7 III, which is very popular, but you don't have a full frame sensor. This is the perfect APS-C camera for me because I get some professional features with it, but I don't have to spend a lot of money to actually film some stuff, because even though you have the camera, you have the lenses, you have to buy also plenty of things that you need if you want to have professional videos. So you have lights, you have sound, you know the rest. It gets kind of very expensive when you are getting into camera world. First thing that I want to talk about is autofocus, because Sony have ranged their cameras above the competition, so they are saying that their autofocus is best on the market. I previously owned the Canon 80D, and Canon autofocus, dual pixel autofocus is very good. I would say it's the best autofocus on the market. Sony has really good autofocus, but sometimes when you are shooting in log profiles, you have kind of hunting. Maybe it's happening right now, I don't know. With autofocus on Sony, you have to be careful. You have to make sure that isn't happening, because it's kind of unnatural hunting, because it's going from forward to background very fast. You can watch on my previous video on YouTube channel where I talk about epic guitar B-roll that is kind of hunting from time to time, and I was trying to cut the scenes where it's happening a lot, and that's kind of problem for me. The next important thing is obviously a flip-up screen. It's the new thing with Sony. People were asking for flip-up screen for ages, and they didn't kind of listen to the people that are using cameras. I was used to Canon's flips to side screen. It's much more convenient when you are trying to make different shots, especially when you're filming yourself, but this is also useful. It's obviously not useful as Canon, but it's improvements, so thumbs up for that. As I was mentioning in the beginning of the video, this camera has a lot of pro features like S-Log profiles, which are very useful when you are color grading, and you people that are getting into color grading will know that. Basically, you can shoot flat image as possible, and then in post you can grade it as you want it to, and you can play with your colors much more than you can with Canon's profiles. I mean, Canon doesn't have profiles, at least in the APS-C lineup of camera. You can manage the neutral profile to level down your contrast, sharpness and stuff, but it doesn't get quite the result you want from your profile like S-Log do. It is worth mentioning that this camera also has zebras and focus peaking. It's very useful when you are shooting other people or other stuff and you want to have your focus very sharp and on point. So focus peaking is very crucial there. You get kind of red screen when you are focusing, so you know what is exactly in focus and what is not. Zebras are obviously there for exposure, and it helps when you are in bright conditions to know what is too exposed or you want to leave it too exposed, like this window behind me. So I want to be exposed properly. If this window behind me is not, the zebras will help me to decide what is good exposed and what is not good exposed. Okay, so the next thing is obviously video quality that everybody talks about. So this camera can shoot 4K, which is new for me. I haven't used camera with the 4K image, and it's pretty awesome to have 4K image in such a small camera. The image is very good, especially in low light conditions. Paired with this Sigma that I'm using now, it's powerful beast to use this camera in any kind of light conditions. Also, with the shooting modes, you get 120 frames per second shooting, which means you can slow the footage down in the post, and everything in 120 frames per second looks amazing. Maybe some of you wants to know about Full HD, which is 1080p. It's kind of soft for me. I was noticing that Canon Full HD, at least on APS-C lineup, is much sharper than Sony, but that's not kind of problem for me because I'm using 4K from now on, because it's much more sharper and it has much more details that I can work with in post, and it's much more pleasure for me to watch 4K than Full HD, so it's not a big thing for me. Maybe sometimes in 120 frames per second when I'm shooting the slow motion, it gets kind of in the way, but I can live with that, because even though I'm using the 4K, I can upload and up-res the 120 frames per second to 4K footage. It's not good looking like 4K original, but it can do the job. The noise levels on this camera are amazing. The low light shooting, as I mentioned before, is very good. Maybe that's my experience, since I didn't have or didn't own the kit lens with this camera. I went straight to the Sigma lineup, contemporary lineup, which is aperture of 1.4, and these lenses are very sharp. I can recommend to all APS-C camera users to buy these lenses. They are a little bit more expensive, but when you count in the quality that you get from them, it's very good investment for your shooting. So buy the better lenses, because you won't regret it. But the two things that are the worst at this camera, also I can live with them, but you don't get the perfect camera. Whatever camera you buy, you will have downsides with it, so you have to deal with it. You have to know what is acceptable for you and with what you can work your way around of it. So first thing, it's the battery life. It sucks. I buy the, I think, 6 baton batteries to get my camera going, and they are not so expensive, but you also have to invest in them and you have to change them a lot. The camera gets around 45 minutes to 1 hour of lifetime with one battery, so for some people it can get annoying to change batteries constantly all the time. For me, I'm kind of used to it now. Also with the Canon, I didn't have these problems. I had like 2 batteries for my ADD, and they will last for the entire afternoon. I didn't even have to think about batteries. And the second worst thing for me, since I use the Canon, is obviously the menu. It's kind of sucks to get to all these features that this camera can give you, because they are not ordered well and you don't have the clue where is what, and you have to, every time you want to change something, you have to search for it and then turn it around. The next day you get to the same thing and you've forgotten all how to get to the feature that you want to change. You have the My Menu option. You can pull the options from your standard menu to My Menu, and then you can know exactly where is what and what to use when you need it. I told you everything I know and every experience I have with this camera. It's a great camera for the money. You can shoot pretty amazing videos with it. You have 4K, 120 frames per second, pro features like log profiles, zebras, focus peaking, everything you can get from this camera. It's very useful. I highly recommend you. Thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe if you ain't already. Please, guys, like the video if you liked it, of course. If you have any questions, please put them down below in the comments area. I will gladly answer all of your questions, and that's it for this one. We will see each other in the next video. Until then, stay safe, be creative, and peace!